Welcome, everyone, to our final all-football edition of YouTube Take. I am your illustrious, glorious superstar of the show, Big Rat 310, with my two subservient guests.
Crack kills first, then Nightmare1.
Oh, man, this guy's so full of himself. Oh, the U sucks. Anyways, Nightmare 26, 28, 10, whatever number you want to use.
Let's be specific. Nightmare 26 on Xbox Live. Nightmare 88 on Twitter. Nightmare 10 on YouTube.
Thank you very much. Nightmare, no, that's it.
All right. Well, it's kind of something big happened over the weekend. I'm not really sure. The biggest...
Yeah, something happened. I think it did. Yeah, something.
The biggest sporting, entertaining, non-political thing, the biggest event in this country that doesn't have to do with with politics of the year is no doubt the Super Bowl. It's the Super Bowl of football.
Beyonce had a concert, right?
Oh yeah, that crap.
Whoa.
Let me say that.
Hands off my girl.
For my viewers out there, I said my viewers, not our viewers. For our viewers out there, obviously I go to college now, and my floor went to this big auditorium to watch the Super Bowl. And we're all watching the Super Bowl. There's a lot of people in there. We're all watching the Super Bowl. We're having a good time. Then Beyonce comes on stage. I leave because I wanted to get food, since there was no food, and I didn't give a shit about Beyonce. I come back after the Beyonce concert, and there is one kid in the entire auditorium with a Ravens jersey on. And everybody else is gone. Because
fuck that.
Yeah, mess that. We finally had a good finally had someone talented do the halftime show. Come on now. Talented and relevant. Let me just put it that way. I don't want to say that.
Relevant. Yeah, relevant.
Relevant is probably the better word, not talented. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I got really mad. Everybody left before the second half of the Super Bowl. This is bullshit. And the only kid that stayed was the kid in the Ravens jersey who was rooting for the Ravens. So I was sitting there with my drink and food, watching the Super Bowl on a huge projector, and there was one kid right behind me who was cheering for everything the Ravens did, and that was my Super Bowl experience, everybody.
It sounds a little bit better than mine. I missed the whole first half. Saw the second beginning of the end of the first half, and the halftime show, and then the long second half.
Okay.
We'll get to that, but
Well, my shit was just me and my brother watching the game.
Hey, I would have preferred just me and my brother watching the game. Fuck.
I just watched it by myself, so there you go.
I watched it. I eventually moved because me and the Ravens fan moved to the student center. And, there was a bigger projector there, and there was like 10 people there, so it was a little more fun. And then when the Niners started their comeback, the Ravens kid said, "This is bullshit. This happens every time." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, in 2010, the Ravens were winning 21-7 against the Steelers at halftime in the division playoffs, and then I went with my family to go get some dinner, and at the restaurant, the Ravens blew the lead. So I'm done with this. He said every time he moves his position, the Ravens blow a lead. So he left. He left and went back to the empty auditorium by himself to watch the game because he didn't want to ruin the luck. Respect. And then I sat in the student center and watched it with 10 fans. There was actually a Niners fan in there, so that was kind of fun. But, yeah, not one of my favorite Super Bowl experiences. But let's actually talk about the game. The Baltimore Ravens, your world champions. I don't think any of us called... Well, I have...
Y'all did. Y'all had them losing to the Colts.
Okay, dipshit.
But I had them losing to the... let me finish. I had them losing the next week to the Broncos, so I'm in that same boat.
Before the season, I thought they'd be there, and I changed that. So.
But let me say this, because this really pissed me off. Because I had a lot of friends that said, "Ooh, I called the Super Bowl before the season," and I was just like, "Shut the fuck up, dipshit." Everyone and their mother was picking Ravens 49ers. Everyone and their mother was writing with, "That should have been the Super Bowl last year. Both teams are going to be angry and pissed and make it back to the Super Bowl that they never could achieve the year before." Everyone predicted a Ravens-Niners Super Bowl. So if you predicted it before the season and you were openly bragging and telling everyone that you did and taking credit for it, go fuck yourself. That's just...
He's got a point there.
No. But Markeem at least admits, "Hey, I dropped it." Like,
yeah, You got to stick with it too. And how many of those people that said that did
stuck with it?
Not very many.
That's why I was riding with the Texans, because I was gonna stick with my goddamn pick. Damn it! Because I wanted to be able to say
the courage of your convictions.
But by the way, first take today was absolutely amazing. The morning show. I haven't seen the 3:30 to 4 show with Terrell Suggs, but in the morning it was like they were like, "Come see us at 3:30 to watch our show with Terrell Suggs." And Stephen A. goes, "That's a world champion, Skip. You better watch your mouth." And Skip's like, "Oh, did he actually do anything in the Super Bowl? I didn't even see him." And Stephen A. just goes,
"Oh shit, I got to hear this shit."
Stephen A. didn't yell. But his tone when he said, "Oh my God, you were just so disrespectful." Don't you be so like he was so he wasn't even yelling, but he was so angry. But yeah,
how big of a grin is Terrell Suggs going to have on that show, or did he have on that show?
Yeah, we haven't seen it yet, unfortunately. We're all going to watch it afterwards, but I'm very excited to finally see it. But let me say that the Ravens. Let me actually talk about the game. God damn it, the Ravens won up big early. Flacco was on fire the first half. I believe right before half, like after the third touchdown, I think he was 10 of 13 for 3 touchdowns, which no interceptions, which is kind of ridiculous when you really think about it. But yeah, they went up 7-0, then they went up 7-3, then 14-3, then 21-3, then 21-6. And when it was 21-6, I was like, guys, it's a 2-possession game. Don't freak the fuck out. The Niners were down by 17 and they came back. And Markeem, of course, was saying the secondary sucks. They're done. And I'll get to that. And then the first play of the second half is Jacoby Jones taking back a 108-yard punt after his third touchdown, which was an incredible catch, spin, and dive into the end zone. They went up.
I think that's the greatest play in Super Bowl history.
The what?
The greatest play in Super Bowl history? Better
than what play?
Yeah.
The Jacoby Jones touchdown, the first one.
Yeah. Because think about it, he falls. You know, he realized that he hadn't been touched. Rolls around, makes 2 people miss, and gets in the end zone. That's incredible.
I agree, incredible play. I don't know about going that far, but it was incredible.
What else? What else you got?
The David Tyree.
Yeah, that one's the first one.
David Tyree, dude.
Oh, okay. Fuck no. Eli Manning was more impressive on that.
That's what I'm talking about. When I mentioned that play, I'm talking about the whole play. Yeah, I'm not just talking about the catch. I'm talking about the whole play. Like Eli escaped like 6 guys. It seemed like.
I'll say that one because to have the presence of mind to do that is kind of impossible. Because if y'all don't know, I played a little bit of tight end in high school, a little bit. And as soon as I fell, I was just down. I was like, okay, whatever. Just to know, I respect him a lot for this.
All right. Slow the fuck down a little bit for one. That started off great. The last 20 seconds after you said high school kind of tapered off. Sorry, guys. Markeem's audio is not treating him very well. But hopefully you won't notice it too much throughout the rest of the show. We'll let you know. And plus my heavily edited version of the show won't show that, hopefully. But by the way, guys, every week I'm talking to the viewers. I edit like a good 30 to 45 minutes off this show. So, yeah, you guys aren't getting the full story, motherfuckers. You don't know how many times last week I was insulted, I was buried, I was disrespected, and I paused the recording without telling them, restarted it, and then went back and deleted that portion of the video.
Are you serious?
Yeah, every time you guys insult me, it never makes camera. So.
Oh, that's bull, dude.
Go ahead, do it now. Do it now, bitches.
That's bull. I'm gonna slip it in, and I'm gonna just be talking about something random, throw one in, and just keep going really fast.
All right, so let's actually get back to the fucking game. They went up 28-6, so then this big blackout came, and the place went null. The blackout occurred for 30 minutes, I believe, where the game just stopped. This was actually convenient for me because that's when me and my friend decided to go to the Student Center instead of watching the Super Bowl in the empty auditorium. And so the blackout occurred, and then the game just changed. Everyone blames the blackout. Me personally, the Niners just, they're a comeback team. I mean, the week before, they were down by 17 points. Maybe this is just how they play. I thought everyone was kind of overreacting to the fact that the comeback turned the football game around. They come back from behind, dude. I think Jim Harbaugh, I do agree, if you give Jim Harbaugh some extra time, he'll take advantage of it. But I thought they were going to make a comeback either way. I'm not saying they would have won, but I didn't think the game would have remained a blowout. So then they just started scoring. It was kind of insane. The Niners sacked. The Niners scored with Crabtree. Crabtree scored to make it 28-13, and then they put a 3-and-out on the Ravens, who had been owning them all day. They put a 3-and-out and sacked Joe Flacco hard. Bad press block coverage by Michael Orr. And then the Niners went around. There was a bad punt. Ted Ginn returned it to the 20, and then
that was awful. That was so awful. Bad.
Yeah. Then I believe this one was. Was this one the Colin Kaepernick? No, the Colin Kaepernick run was later. This was another touchdown. I forget how, though. I think to Vernon Davis. I don't remember.
No. The Kaepernick.
The
Kaepernick touchdown was first. Then it was Frank Gore, right?
No. I'm pretty sure the Kaepernick touchdown made it 31-29. I'm almost positive.
Okay. I don't know.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The point is they scored here. I think by Frank Gore, maybe by Kaepernick. We'll see. So then the Ravens were only up 28 to 21. Yeah, 28 to 20. 28 to 20. That's right. Then the Ravens kicked the field goal, and then the Niners drove down. They kicked the field goal. A missed field goal at first by David Akers, but they got lucky on a bullshit running into the kicker call. And so they took the field goal. Akers' field goal, made it again to make it 28-23. 31-23. Then Kaepernick ran for the touchdown to make it 31-29. They missed on the 2-point conversion, and which I thought was very poorly executed, by the way. Then the Ravens kicked another field goal, 34-29, and then the famous drive, or I guess what will go down as somewhat of a historic drive. They're in the red zone. Kaepernick ran. Frank Gore made a 33-yard drive. And then in the red zone, for whatever reason, Jim Harbaugh decided to throw. He threw the ball 4 times. He threw the ball 4 times, all incomplete passes, including the quote-unquote holding call in the end zone. Then the Ravens got the ball back, took a safety, which was a genius move by John Harbaugh. And then they kicked it off, tried to get Ted Ginn to return the touchdown. Ted Ginn couldn't do it. That's it. Game over. Final score, 34-31 Ravens. Phil, I'll start with you. What do you get at... We'll talk about the penalty and we'll talk about the play calling. But first off, the Baltimore Ravens, Super Bowl champions. You shocked? You surprised? What are your first reactions to that?
Both. If you had said that before the playoffs, I'd have been like, dang, really? Really? But, I would have probably been pretty shocked because, you have to go through some pretty... They would have gone through some pretty good teams in the Broncos, the Patriots, or even the Texans. So, that would have been pretty, in the Colts first round. It would have been a tough road for me to say that they could...
Hold on, Phil. The Colts are not a good team. Go ahead.
But you picked them to beat the Ravens, though. Come on now. You did pick them to beat this Ravens team, is what I'm saying.
Markeem. Markeem, just say Andrew Luck. The Ravens had to go through Andrew Luck. Does that make you feel better?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that makes you feel a lot better.
And that's essentially what I mean, because he is the Colts. Let's be real. Him and Reggie Wayne, that's about it, as far as it goes.
Oh, we're going to talk about that? All the wars and stuff?
Yeah, we should talk about the wars.
We will. But stick to the goddamn Super Bowl.
We are. We just make sure you don't forget, you daggone moderator. Quotations. Anyways, so yeah, I was shocked. Oh, that was great. Don't you dare edit that out. I will never live that down. You let that out. Anyways, but as far as once the playoffs started and once I saw, it just looked like the Ravens were just on this crazy. And then after the Broncos game, definitely wasn't shocked after that. Going into the Super Bowl, I said, after. I said that if Patriots were to lose, I was probably going to root for the NFC. I didn't really find myself rooting for any team. I kind of, after the blackout, I rooted for the Ravens. I was like, nah, I can't. Niners fans, you don't want to win this way. You don't want. Trust me, I've been there with a bad call. Just random stuff. You just don't want somebody to have something to point to, even if it is ridiculous. You don't want there to be a reason why. Quote unquote, you won. You don't want that. But obviously, you still want a Super Bowl versus not getting one. So that's kind of a mute point, anyways. But as far as the game itself, it's pretty. The Ravens just came out. I was like, we're gonna get this kind of game. It didn't even feel like soup to me. Honest, I came home. Like I said earlier, I missed, or I don't know if this was on the podcast. I can't remember, but missed the most of the first half, and it's like I came home second half about to end, or first half about to end, about to be the halftime show, which Beyonce did an awesome job. Just want to throw that out there. Since Big Round was a hate. But yeah, I thought I was like, man, this just does not feel like a Super Bowl. I don't know, and then don't say it's just because New England wasn't in it. It just felt like maybe it was because it was two teams that I don't know a lot of fans of. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. But it just didn't feel like it. Obviously most of the time I watch it with friends and stuff, so that could have played into it as well. But I mean, the Ravens just came out, swinging. I mean, Matt Flacco was just beasting. Never thought this is one thing I definitely didn't think that a run, and I'm not saying he sucked balls or anything like that, but playoffs would not consist of a lot of Ray Rice, which it really didn't. He wasn't a very big vocal point that when he usually is. So that was kind of shocking. But I mean, when you have the Ray Lewis stuff, it just and you're playing. Flacco played like he did. He had 0 interceptions. Is that correct? Right.
11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The second best touchdown interception ratio in the history of the NFL. And no, it's the best. It's tied with Joe Montana. But no. Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, no one's ever had that type of success. I was about to say that
the only other person to get it was Joe Montana. So I mean, huge. I mean, we've seen lately. I mean, look at the last Super Bowl. Giants last year, Packers year before. We haven't been since the Saints since we saw a top team go into the playoffs and was able to to hold on or to move on and go to the Super Bowl and win. That was the Saints the last time that happened. So might be that might be the trend right now, and until it gets stopped.
The last three Super Bowl winners won less than 70% of their games during the regular season,
and played on Wild Card Weekend as well. So that's a big. Markeem,
okay. Markeem, I've been thinking about this. Go ahead and tell me regular season games don't matter, because those two games, Cardinals and Jets, that the Dolphins almost won, had they won, would have been in the playoffs. So those games did fucking matter, asshole. Continue.
It's true. Good point, Bigger. I don't know.
That's all I do.
Oh man, we have talked that out the you know what. But yeah, as far as the game is analysis of the game, I don't know if you want me to talk about certain plays and stuff like that. One thing I will bring up, that's the lesser of the important parts of the game, because people pretty much forgot it because the Ravens won, which is how it works. Is you decided not to go for it instead of getting your easy 3 points. What was that? The beginning of the first quarter or what or something?
I think it was second quarter.
Second quarter. I remember I read this on Twitter when it was happening, so I don't know exactly the scenario of it because I didn't go back and watch it. But that that's one of those things I've always said. It's one of those things where if it works, you're a genius. If it doesn't work, you look like an idiot. One of the biggest things that I always point back to is if people remember, and it's because I'm a Patriots fan that I remember this, but it's Patriots Colts. Fourth down. Fourth and two. Thank you.
On their own 25, yeah.
Right, and Belichick decides to go for it. He knows that touchdowns is what he needs. He knows the defense. What at that time what's even worse. So those gusty calls. He makes that. He's a genius, and they beat the Colts probably. He doesn't make it. Colts. Peyton Manning was makes him look like a fool, of course. But it's one of those things. You have to. It's pros and cons of it. I don't think I'll say this. I don't think that kick was so huge. Now, granted, had the Niners won, they might have ended up winning by 3, which would have been. Then everybody talks about that kick, but like I said, I don't think it was one of those scenarios. And maybe it's just because the Ravens won. I mean, like I said, that's what it boils down to. Do you end up winning the game? Do the points cost you? But I think that it comes down to. I don't think it's as big as a point as like the Seahawks when they had two huge opportunities to get 3 easy points and didn't get it done. I don't know if it's like that. I wouldn't say it is. Obviously, if you get the job done in the end and you win, it doesn't matter. It's when you lose and you need those points. Clearly, that's when it's a bigger problem. But not to go on about that. Like I said, I don't know if we're going to wait on the holding call and stuff like that. My biggest thing, I'll go ahead and say it. My biggest thing about that, I do. The first glance, I was like, you know what? They're roughing it up. They're playing. Let them play. But I mean, afterwards, I do feel like they should have called holding because I feel like the Ravens. God, basically, I mean, when you look at it, he had him first. I know Crabtree was doing a little bit. But my biggest thing about that is I don't think Crabtree catches that ball anyway.
Yeah.
So that's my big point there. It's like, okay, I can live with that call. Now, granted, I can see Niners fans being upset. I mean, you're gonna be upset if your Super Bowl chances come down to a play like that. I get that. I'm okay with that. Other fans should just be okay. They should just shut up. It's okay. It's just a hold up. My thing is there was clearly holding on that safety take. Yeah. I mean, they literally showed the replay, and that guy's literally just like grabbing him, and the refs are like, "Well, the game's over. We don't care." Like, no, you got to call holding there.
No.
Like that's where I draw the line. Like that call, to me, I think that you have to call holding there.
No, but I believe the point is, I mean, I don't know if it would have done anything, but I believe what they were trying to say was that, if you call holding in the end zone, it's a safety anyways. Like, I think what could have happened is I'm not even sure. They maybe put 3 seconds on the clock. Maybe. I'm not even sure.
Right, that is true. That is true. It would have been.
It would have just, if they called holding, it's like John Harbaugh would have been like, okay, it's a safety. So
right. The only thing big would have been the seconds. The only thing big.
Y'all not leaving me with much to say, but go ahead.
Sorry, but what was the other thing I was gonna say about that? Oh, another big thing is which was close. I'm talking close. But there was like a clear offside, not clear. Like I said, it was close. And I know Skip Bayless. It almost really sound like Bayless bringing this up, but whatever. Ed Reed was offsides. I mean, it was close. I understand fast pace, but
for the fourth down play.
Yeah. No. This was actually, I think, I want to say, when was this? It gave them. I think it's when the Ravens ended up getting the ball back. It wasn't that they weren't offsides on. I don't think it was this possession. Maybe it was. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. Though. Anyways, but I think it was. I think it was the possession, the Niners possession before that. It was on the 2-point conversion. That's right. Wasn't it? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, 2-point conversion.
Yeah. Now I remember that. I was looking at the little stat sheet right here. I saw it. Yeah. So it was on the 2-point conversion. So I think that was kind of big as well. But the thing is that I want to say that a couple people got on me like, don't do this, man. Don't be that guy. Don't do this. But I'm sorry. You have to face the facts. That blackout changed the game. Whether you want to say now, did it? If the Niners had won, I'm not going to sit there and say that they only won because of the blackout. Like, I'm not going to be that stupid. But
there's an asterisk.
Yeah. But you have to. I mean, look. It's clear the Ravens were not. The Niners could not stop this team. Then all of a sudden they play defense. Then all of a sudden Flacco's not able to get what he usually is able to get. And then you got to factor in too. I don't know if Big Red might have the number somewhere. He can look him up while I'm talking.
That
but
Flacco had what was it? It was like 5.
No. Well, that's not what I'm looking for. But I'm looking for the exact time. I think it was like 80 minutes had gone by since they got the ball. Like the Ravens hadn't gotten.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was 80-something minutes. That's insane. You gonna tell me that's a non-factor? You don't know that because I have heard some people say if you say the blackout caused the comeback, you don't know football. No, you do know. You don't know football if you think the blackout did not cause anything because 83 minutes without having the ball is huge. I mean, essentially that's a second. I mean, that's the second half.
Joe Flacco has always been someone that works off momentum, and he's been sitting for so long. I think that did make it. And
can you imagine? And I'm not, like I said, I know I relate a lot of stuff to the Patriots stuff, but you're going to tell me people would not be livid if Bill Belichick had an extra 83 minutes down, however many touchdowns? Like, I mean, Jim Harbaugh it's Jim, right?
Yeah.
Make sure I'm getting the right one. Okay. Yeah, you're going to tell me Jim Harbaugh, great coach, didn't, capitalize on that? I'm not saying John didn't, but it was clear. I mean, I'm not saying, I know the Ravens lost Nada. I know that was big there. I do throw questions at Jim. Why didn't you not run at least, once? I'm not saying twice. I understand you got to throw the game. You got to throw the ball there, but.
Here's a stat.
Good.
All season, in the red zone, Colin Kaepernick has only completed one pass in the end zone.
One for 8. 1 for 8.
Ooh. And that's what I think. Without Nada, how do you not run there? I don't get why you don't at least run once. You run a first down, you get nothing, or you lose yards.
You put time off the clock.
I understand.
You put time off the clock.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, it still comes down to that, and they don't get the ball. I mean, you weren't going to get us. I mean, the slim chances you were going to get. Another thing I just thought of that I was wondering because I'm not sure if there might be some rules against it, and I just don't see it often enough. I guess I don't really remember every time it happens, but. Can you fair catch a safety kick?
I think you can.
Because, I mean, they could have had – I mean, honestly, it's a Hail Mary. I get it. It doesn't happen. But, I mean, the odds of it happening. But you saw how close last year when Gronk was literally like fingertips from it. Anything can happen. So I was like, why not fair catch this year? You're not returning this. Like, there's no way the Ravens are letting you return this.
Yeah, but I think they thought it's Ted Ginn. Like, Ted Ginn, say what you want about him. Markeem, you could say whatever you want about Ted Ginn, but he's a pretty good returner. He's really good, actually.
He's an amazing returner. I give him that.
Right, and it goes without saying. I'm not saying, oh my gosh, how did they not fair catch it? But I'm just saying, there's something you can. It's one of those little things you can talk about. And there's one more thing I was just thinking about it while I was talking about that I want to talk about as far as those. Something that the freaking. Oh, there was another thing I was thinking the whole time. I was like, it doesn't matter if the Niners score here because Flacco gonna light up this defense.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but I just knew. I was like, you know what? They're going to score. I just sat back and said, they're going to score. Niners fans thinking they're going to have it, and we're going to see Flacco pulling Eli. Like, I just felt it. Like, I literally felt it. And then
there was far too much time on the clock. There was like a minute and 50 seconds left. I was like, are you kidding me? Flacco and I remember they would have only needed a field goal. I would have been like, well, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have been like, of course Flacco's going to come back and do this. Like, this isn't nearly enough time. That was my main problem with why they didn't run the ball. Not just because they didn't score, but they left way too much goddamn time on the clock. And, I was just thinking, man, if they need to burn more time here. I mean, there's a minute and 40 seconds left. That's not enough. You need less time. And you have probably the best running offense in the country now that the Redskins are out of the playoffs. Like, I don't know why. I'm mind-boggled, actually, why a coach as great as Jim Harbaugh would think that Colin Kaepernick, who's 1 for 8 in the red zone, would think that throwing it 4 times is a good idea. And someone pointed this out. The one time that they chose to run with Kaepernick, they had to call the timeout because there would have been a delay of game, and that probably would have been a touchdown. Good chance. I remember when he... But yeah, Colin Kaepernick does that a lot. He gets a lot of delay of games. I noticed that throughout the whole season. He gets a lot of delay of games. And that's just from being a rookie. I don't fault the kid. But Markeem, since you've been waiting in the dusk.
Sorry. One more thing. I do want to say this. And we'll talk. Well, I'm just saying. Let me finish what I say.
Go ahead.
I know a lot of people are saying, and I actually kind of agree with a lot of what people are saying, but I understand why they gave it to him. Jacoby Jones, I think Jacoby Jones should have shared MVP, if anything. I do think Jacoby Jones, without him, I mean, the huge kickoff return, obviously that big play that Markeem's talking about, which, arguably will go down as one of the top best plays in the Super Bowl, or either be forgotten. Sometimes the plays are like that or forgotten, but I'm just saying. I do think Jacoby Jones should at least got a share. I mean, the dude beasted. I mean, we saw, and don't say receivers can't get it, So I just, and I know that he only had one catch. That one touchdown was his only catch. And a lot of people said I know Skip Bayless said Anquan Bolden, but to me, either it's Jacoby Jones or Flacco.
Now, but Jacoby Jones' two touchdowns is what really put the game away at the time.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
I'm not pausing. Because I want to bury this because he's a Markeem
dream.
I don't get the fuck out. Go ahead.
Dude, he's just a blacker man. Ooh.
He's just a blacker man reviewing comics for the fan. Okay.
Yeah,
we're done.
All right. Talk, man. Talk.
Yeah, sure. The floor is yours. Yeah, I'm sorry, Markeem, for talking so much.
I really, honestly, this won't take that long. The game was nuts. I said the Ravens. Y'all said everything I want to say. And, I will say this, though. When we first started this show, y'all remember I said Joe Flacco would have a break. You got to excuse me. I'm like under the weather a bit, too. I don't sound as enthusiastic as I usually am. Y'all know I said Joe Flacco would have a breakout year this year. Y'all remember that?
Right. I do remember.
I know. He said Joe Flacco would have a breakout year this year, and I do vaguely remember that, yes.
I guess he did. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Props to the Ravens.
Oh, no,
there is one.
No, hold on. You're not going to talk about Dante Whitner?
They. Okay, I've been saying all year they suck. It's not what the secondary. They suck. The secondary is ass. Like the Niners secondary is ass. I don't want all of them went to the Pro Bowl like that because they're trash.
They would be a team. They would be a team they need to go after. Like if Revis wasn't actually available, that'd be a team that need to be splashing in Revis.
Did you guys hear about that trade? That possibility of trading Alex Smith and Culliver for Revis?
That's nuts.
I didn't hear that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I heard that shit.
That's good both sides though.
Yeah.
There is. Yeah, so there's one more thing. I don't know if we're gonna move on. Mark, you can go ahead and say something.
Just congrats to the Ravens. Ed Reed, obviously. Well, I don't even need to speak about the University of Miami's dominance in the Super Bowl, but
oh my God.
Moving on to that.
There's an article on Ed Reed. It's called Ed Reed Hiding in Plain Sight. It was done by ESPN. It's kind of long,
awesome.
But that article is
coming from high school. Being a star recruit, all the shit he went through college, the way he, yeah.
All right, I caught like 10% of that, but I believe he said that he read it. I believe he said that he read it and that he does admit the University of Miami is the greatest franchise in all of college football. But I will say,
I didn't know that.
Okay. So you didn't read it. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Yeah, he read it. It's a fantastic article, and it actually talks about how Ed Reed, in the Ravens locker room, is probably just as respected, if not more, than Ray Lewis. That to the media and to the cameras, Ray Lewis may be like, the extravagant, inspirational speaker, but Ed Reed is the guy that you don't see on camera that is going to a third string running back in the injury room and asking, hey, what's wrong? Like, he's the general leader of the team, and he hates the media attention, hates it. And I know how badly this Super Bowl meant to him. And that's why I was so happy to finally see him go. Because the Niners, I'm not going to lie, once the Niners started that comeback, I kind of wanted to see them win because I wanted to see Kaepernick. I wanted to, because there's that notion that you can't win a Super Bowl unless you have a top 5 quarterback, which is true, but I think it's unfair because, having a top 5 quarterback isn't enough. You need to have a top 5 quarterback and have a very balanced team. And I think the Giants and the Packers, if all they had was a top 5 quarterback, neither of those teams would have won the Super Bowl. So,
in the same argument, is Flacco top 5 before this playoff run?
Well, let me say this.
You could have made the argument.
Right, I guess so. Yeah,
yes.
I guess so.
And that's what they're going to say. But in my opinion, I'm not a fan of that mentality. I really do think that there are so many teams over the years that we didn't see make the Super Bowl because of bad luck. Like the Ravens, Flacco last year without question was not a top 5 quarterback. There was no argument. And Alex Smith last year taking the Niners to the Super Bowl like he should have. I just think that mentality is kind of outdated. And yes, I'm not going to front. Every quarterback the past 8 years has been a top 5 quarterback, but I think that's just such an unfair depiction, and that's why I wanted to see Kaepernick win. And I like Kaepernick a lot. But at the end of the day, the Niners are going to be back. I don't know about you guys, but I think they're the favorites to win next year. And we'll talk about what people think are the favorites. But I think they should be the favorites. They're only going to get better. That whole team is coming back. And legitimately, they don't have cap issues, and they can just replace their first round. They'll probably draft a free or strong safety or a cornerback to replace those guys. They have very little needs. I think we can all agree. Right. They have very little needs.
And I think they were a team. I kind of looked in going in. I was like, it doesn't matter if they win or lose. I mean, they're pretty much my favorites looking at it, and that's coming from a Patriots fan. We'll get to that, but
the Ravens.
Kaepernick with a full season. That's all you got.
Yeah. I mean, how many stars did he have? I think
10. 10. That's insane.
There's one more thing. I don't know. I think I know where we're going next, but one thing I wanted to say, and I'm going to keep it short because you guys that I'm about to talk to don't deserve much of my time.
Wait, let me finish this. Let me just finish this. The Ravens, I legitimately thought this was their last year to be a Super Bowl contender because, and we'll talk about Joe Flacco in a little bit, but I think once Ray Lewis and Ed Reed's going to leave. I don't know, this hasn't been talked about. It's not, he might retire. I think he should, but this is the last year of his contract. He's 35. And I don't see the Ravens re-signing him. In fact, I think there's actually a good chance he goes to the Patriots or the Dolphins, hopefully. But I know they won't do it. But Belichick is in love with Ed Reed. They talked about that a lot in the article, actually, Phil.
That would be awesome.
They talked a lot about that in the article, how like Belichick is like Ed Reed's biggest fan, including Ravens fans. And but yeah, Ed Reed.
And by the way, about that, everybody's flipping out because and trying to make it a story because he said he would like to play for Bill. What's so wrong with saying that? Like I didn't think like even if I was a Ravens fan, how do you fault him for saying that? Like I didn't get that.
Well,
he was asked a question and he answered it.
Personally, he lives in Miami. His kids are in Miami. He went to the University of Miami. I would love to just see him come back to Miami, but wait.
I think Ed Reed's done. I think Ed Reed's done though. I don't think he's. If he's not going to be a Raven, he's not going anywhere.
No matter what, he's not going to be a Raven.
How many times has he said that he's considering retirement because he hates the offseason? Like he hates the offseason. How many times has he like skipped training camp because of this? And now that he has a Super Bowl, I mean, why? Why? Well, what's worth? Why is it necessary? That's just my opinion. But
it's not. I say in on top, Ed Reed. Just do it.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. That's why at the end of the day, I think it's best that the Ravens won because this was their last year and they had failed a lot. They had been the team that quote unquote could never win a big one. The team that will always make the playoffs will never make the Super Bowl. That was the Ravens the past 5 years. And props to them. They deserve that. Their fans have been through a lot. They deserve that. All right, Phil, continue.
All right. What I was saying, what I was going to say earlier, just want to talk to those people out there that constantly and still, after the man wins the Super Bowl, still want to attack this guy. Right? I'm talking about Ray Lewis. We all know this. I'm just going to say, I'm going to make it simple because I'm done talking to these idiots. I'm going to make it simple. Do not. Well, let me rephrase. Let me back up. Let me think of here for a second. All I'm going to say is I'm going to quote it the best way I can. He who is without sin, please cast the first. But yeah, like don't come at me. I mean, we've all gone through our stuff. We all do. But yeah, they don't deserve much more of my time. And those that say that they were just joking, I'm sorry. There's nothing about that that's funny to me. Not one bit was funny. You don't joke about that. You don't talk murder. You're now dissing the family. And to me, if you're by doing all this to Ray Lewis, you're actually dissing the family too. So if you want to be Mr. and Mrs. High and Mighty, you might want to think about what you're actually doing. So, if you want me to, I just can't. It just gets me so mad. And I think I said this earlier, or we said some of this earlier, but I think part of maybe why Ed Reed even said that he would play for Belichick was maybe to get some of the heat off of Lewis, just because maybe this will be the story of the week of the day, and Lewis can take a break for a second. I'm not saying that's why he did it, but I'm just saying.
Can Ray get the? Hold on, I hate to cut you off.
Oh no, you're good.
Can Ray get the same respect someone like Kobe Bryant gets? No one talks about the rape thing anymore.
Yeah, no one.
Move on.
Great example. No one talks about that anymore. It's.
Markeem. Now we get to our next big topic, which is Joseph Flacco. Everyone's talking about his contract. He wants Drew Brees money. He wants to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Does he deserve this, Markeem?
Oh my God. Yes and no. Because 5 straight playoff appearances, Super Bowl title. He's just as successful as anyone else. But it's hard because he's obviously not Brees. He's obviously not Manning. None of those guys. But he's just as successful. So I don't know.
What I would
say, yes.
Phil?
What I would say is I think not Skip Bayless. Dang, why'd I say that? I'm sorry, Stephen A. Stephen A. said it best. He said, does he deserve what Tom Brady should get? No, but does he deserve what Tom Brady has? Yes. If that I really think that is the perfect thing. Like what Tom Brady his contract he's got now, Flacco deserves that. And I think, to be honest, I hate people. And I hate people, but I don't think that people should be so. They should be more concerned about their team a little bit more and you don't have to be the highest paid quarterback. Just get your money. I mean, Flacco deserves his money. But if he wants Brees numbers, the Ravens are really in no spot in not giving it to him. They have to give him whatever he wants. What kind of story would that be? Flacco wants big money. Ravens doesn't want to give it to him. The Super Bowl MVP is going to find another team. Like, that's not happening. So it doesn't matter what money he's asking for. They're going to get it done, and it's going to be for whatever it is. So
let's just put it like this: if I was playing Madden and he wanted that money, he wouldn't get it from me.
Now that's true. Right now, that's true. I agree too, Markeem. Like, if he wanted top money, I'd look elsewhere and be like, we're moving on. We've got our one ring and we'll move on. But this is, I just don't. The Ravens can't do that. I mean, that would be great. Huge story if that happened. Huge.
Here's my take on it, and I'll make this quick because I really do want to get to the NFL honors thing. But next year, Flacco and Ray Lewis and Ed Reed are going to be gone. All right, and the team is going to revolve more around him. Because when you give someone that kind of money as a contract, look at Drew Brees as an example, look at Aaron Rodgers so far as an example, and what he will be as an example next year when his contract runs out. When you give someone that much money, you really limit how much money you devote to the rest of your team. And for a defense that's going to lose Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, do you really is Flacco good enough to where he can by himself carry this team deep in the playoffs like Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees do? Is he that good? I don't think so. I think if you give him that kind of money, you're going to be asking him to by himself take your ass to the playoffs. And I really don't think he has that talent. People forget how fucking inconsistent he is during the regular season. He's the two statistically worst games by any. We've seen a lot of terrible quarterbacks this year. All the Cardinals quarterbacks, Mark Sanchez, Matt Castle. We've seen them all. Of all the terrible quarterbacks, not just one, but two. The two worst performances by any quarterback in the NFL this season were both by Joe Flacco. Where are Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Eli Manning? Their worst games. Do you think they're anywhere near the bottom 10 of the worst games of any quarterback in the NFL?
I will say this. Kind of what you said made me think of something. I kind of feel like he's Eli. I don't think Eli deserved all the money he got either. Let's think about Eli. He was pretty inconsistent. Now, was he, like you're saying, I agree with your point. He's not, the two worst quarterback ratings. He didn't have those kind of games, but Eli's pretty inconsistent in the regular season.
He was still more consistent than Flacco.
Right. I'm just saying, if you have to compare him to somebody that's about to get money, I'm thinking Eli's more.
Eli didn't grow.
Eli is also the most clutch quarterback in the NFL. Right.
Eli didn't grow. He didn't grow from shitty quarterback to great quarterback overnight. No, it was shitty, good, pretty good, very good, and then when he won his Super Bowl, great. With Flacco, just last year, there were critics of, can he do it? Is he holding the Ravens back? I get it. His postseason this season was absolutely tremendous, but I really, really think that some people are kind of overlooking, are kind of just forgetting what Flacco has done. Flacco has had several inconsistent offensive performances, and I really think that if you give him that kind of money, you are going to be basing the franchise around him, and he's not good enough to carry them that far. Look, Mark Sanchez is a great example, and Joe Flacco's much better than Mark Sanchez, don't get me wrong. Mark Sanchez, people seem to forget, Mark Sanchez is 4-2 in the playoffs. Mark Sanchez was great in the playoffs. He was great in the playoffs. I'm not going to lie, his numbers were great in the playoffs. So what did the Jets do? They went out and gave him Tom Brady money. And then when he couldn't get them, and then he was expected to get them to the playoffs by himself, and he couldn't because he's not good. Right. And Flacco's obviously better than that, don't get me wrong. But when you put Flacco in a Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Andrew Luck position, I don't think he's good enough. Because what if they don't make the playoffs? It's one thing if they make the playoffs and he goes to the AFC Championship game every year because he's a playoff quarterback. Okay, I get that. What if he's not even good enough to make the playoffs? Eli has 2 Super Bowls and then 4 years of no playoffs. But Eli's better than Flacco. I don't think Flacco gets you that second Super Bowl like Eli did. And Eli had a team around him at least. Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Brady, they're never going to win a Super Bowl with the teams they had this season. they're never going to win with do-it-all for us mentality because you can't. You need to build a team around a guy. That's why Brady taking less money was so good for the franchise because he understood that I know I deserve more, but the team needs more pieces in order for us to win another Super Bowl. And with Flacco, like I said, I just don't think he's that good enough.
Did you just give Tom Brady?
I know. I was getting a little shocked there too.
That's the last you'll ever hear from me. But I like Flacco a lot. He's a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's elite because I think like Omar Kelly, the guy I follow on Twitter, is a big Flacco fan and says Flacco's elite. I think people throw elite around too loosely these days.
Very.
In every sport.
When you say elite quarterback, I think you're trying to say top 10. And Flacco's top 10. I could say that. But in my opinion, when you say elite, there's a level of the elite. And that level is Brady, Manning, Rodgers, Breeze. And that's it. Like Luck and RG3 are young. They'll get there eventually, but I don't want to place them in there now. Ben Roethlisberger's on the fringe. But that's the elite, that top 5. And is Flacco at the level of those 5? No. I don't even have to think about it. Like with Roethlisberger, at least I can somewhat think about it because he won 2 Super Bowls. But with Flacco, my answer, no. It's no. It's easy.
And I think people are kind of, and a good example here that I would use here is like, what if Tony Romo does that same thing? You think people are going to put him just because he makes a good run? I'm not saying that's all Flacco did, but I'm saying you can't just because he won a Super Bowl automatically he's elite. I think a lot of people start jumping on that.
But Flacco been to 3 championship games.
That's true. I know. And then if Romo decided to make a run, it would be the first. Literally, they did everything.
I'll give Flacco this year, but it's the same thing as Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger has 2 Super Bowls, and obviously he's also like the best third down quarterback in the NFL. But Roethlisberger has 2 Super Bowls because both years.
I would argue. I'm glad you brought that up. I would argue Roethlisberger is one of the best third down quarterbacks in NFL history.
Yes, and he has 2 Super Bowls because of the best defense and the best running game. Flacco this year, it was because the offense was performing at such a high level. They have a lot of offensive weapons, which no one has mentioned. I'm not trying to say the receivers make Flacco. That's not true. But I wouldn't call the Ravens an offensive powerhouse, but Anquan Bolden, Torrey Smith, Dennis Pitta, Ray Rice, Dixon, Pierce. These are all... No.
I think Flacco makes them look better than they are. I honestly do believe that.
Okay, no. Anquan Bolden's a monster. Torrey Smith runs a 4.3. Torrey Smith runs a 4.3.
Anquan Bolden is a good receiver. Skip, you sound like Skip Bates right now.
Yeah.
Well, look.
Anquan Bolden's good. He's good, but I think people are overcrediting him a little bit.
No, it's the same thing with the Patriots. The Patriots don't have a lot of Pro Bowlers on the offensive side, but they have a lot of weapons. To be a weapon, you don't have to be a great player. It's a weapon.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Gronk, Hernandez, Welker, Woodhead, these are Ridley. These are all weapons. Like, Flacco has weapons.
Even Brandon Lloyd.
Brandon Lloyd.
Hold on. Time. Gronk and Welker is your first 2 examples. Suck.
Go fuck yourself. Anyways.
Because Gronk is the best in his position in the game. And Welker is top 3. So shut up.
That's true. That is true. But I understand what Big Guy was saying.
All right.
I get what you're saying, too, but those are 2 best examples.
I'm trying to make my fucking point, you goddamn motherfucker. All right. So, Flacco's AFC Championship appearances were because of the defense and Ray Rice. It was not because of Flacco. That's why they were saying.
Except for this year, right?
Yeah, this year's different because the offense is different. But that's why they were saying is Flacco holding them back, because Ray Rice was if not the best running back in the NFL, top 2. That 2009 year. That 2009 year when he wrecked the Patriots, he was, if not the best, top 2. And that defense has been great. Like Flacco's a great quarterback. He's a great quarterback. He's top 10. But I think giving him big money would be a mistake, and I think the Ravens are going to do exactly what the Saints did to Breeze. I think the Ravens are going to franchise tag him, which is $14 million, which is not the $20 million that he wants. I think they're going to franchise tag him for a year and say, yo, if you're really that good, do it again. Now that Ed Reed and Ray Lewis are gone, let's see what you got. And after the franchise tag, if Flacco still is performing at the level he was in the postseason, the whole season, I'll say, you know what? Fine, pay the man his money. But I really don't think that I don't think Ozzie Newsome's too smart of a GM to just make Flacco the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Because I think he knows Flacco's not the best quarterback in the NFL. Simple.
Yep. That's a good point. That's good.
Ozzie Newsome right behind the crowd, man. Best owners in the game.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's a weird look. I wanted to say something. He looked just like a typical owner though. Like he just has that look. Like, I saw that on the Super Bowl when he hugs John. I'm like, oh, that is like owner all over you. Like clearly you own the place.
He had that Vince McMahon swag.
Vince McMahon can too.
Next we talk about the NFL honors. Not really a lot of surprises. I think almost all of our predictions came true, with the exception of a few. Adrian Peterson wins the MVP. Hold on, I have it here. I'm looking it up right now. Adrian Peterson won the MVP. Peyton Manning won Comeback Player of the Year. J.J. Watt won Defensive Player of the Year. RG3 won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Luke Kuechly won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Bruce Arians won Coach of the Year. Am I missing anything?
I think you're good.
Yeah, I think you got everything.
All right, Markeem. Is there any shocks, upsets, anything bad, anything that you felt they got wrong, or what are your overall thoughts?
I'm not gonna be like you, because I know you're gonna go off in a second.
No. Please. I'm tired. I'm tired of going off on that subject. I've said it far too much.
But I'm fine with all of them, man. I thought Andrew Luck should have been Rookie of the Year, but I'm cool with that. Everything else, exact choices I would choose. So yeah, I'm fine.
Phil?
I think I'm cool there. I think I'm with Markeem. I think as far as Rookie of the Year, I really think it was down to Andrew Luck and Russell Wilson to me. Like Russell Wilson was irrelevant before this. Like no one thought that this guy was going to be the starter. Like that's to me. I was really leaning towards Russell Wilson, but I get the Andrew Luck stuff. I mean, I understand.
I thought he was going to be a wildcat quarterback. I'm guilty.
Right. I couldn't even. I probably didn't even know who he was. To be completely honest, I'm sure I saw him to draft him, but I mean, I feel like Russell Wilson didn't get enough respect, but I would have been fine with Andrew Luck. RG3, I kind of like really, but it is what it is. Everyone else deserved everything they got. I was kind of shocked that Arians got it, but I understand why, coaching. But I mean, the Colts made it to the playoffs, so it was cool. I don't really have a go-to guy if it wasn't him. So
Pete Carroll, the only other guy.
Yeah, probably Pete Carroll. Yeah, that's true.
From what if you go to ESPN's Facebook page, they posted a picture of RG3 with Rookie of the Year as the title, and if you look in the comments, every single comment is bullshit. Russell Wilson should have won. Bullshit. Andrew Luck should have won. It's hilarious, actually.
That is pretty cool.
Every single comment. But yeah, I mean, I don't think RG3 should have won. I think it should have been Andrew Luck or Russell Wilson. But you know what? It is what it is. And I think they're both going to show next year. Because, I think they're both better.
And it's not like RG3 wasn't sensational.
Yeah,
fine.
Right.
No, it's deserving.
It's not a huge step down.
It's deserving. Although I do like the other two quarterbacks better than him. Andrew Luck, obviously. I think Andrew Luck, obviously, we've spoken his praise enough. Russell Wilson, while he may not have the height or the speed or the body of RG3, I think intangibles-wise, Russell Wilson's the best of the three. Like, for whatever reason, when Russell Wilson's your quarterback, I can't even explain it. It seems like...
I don't know about that kid.
What are you going to say? What are you going to say, bitch? What are you going to say? Most fourth quarter comebacks in NFL history with Andrew Luck?
I mean, not even just that, man. You got to remember, I've seen every snap this boy has ever taken since he was a sophomore in college. Andrew Luck is just next level everything, dog. Y'all all see soon. Y'all will all see.
No, I see it now. I understand. Andrew Luck's the best of the three. I'm saying
I mean everything. I mean, like intangibles, like what he can do. Like I'm going to make a bold claim right now. I believe when he is done, when his career is over, he will be top 3 quarterback to ever play the game in history.
RG3?
No,
Andrew.
Oh, Andrew Luck. Oh, I was about to say.
No, and that's not that bold. Trent Dilfer said the same thing. He said in 10 years we'll be discussing whether he's the best ever.
I think he will win at least 3 Super Bowls at the very least.
You got to have a team around him, though. You still got to have a team around him.
I'm telling you, that dude. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Had a little more.
Russell, there's no better way to describe it than Russell Wilson is just special. He's special. It's obvious.
Oh, he is. He is. I agree with that. He is.
And, with Russell Wilson, it really seems like the moment's never too big for him. And it wouldn't shock me if the Seahawks made the Super Bowl. It wouldn't shock me if Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl before the other two. Now, he has a much better team and a much better coach. But
oh, shit.
Yeah. Just saying. All right, let's move on now to the Hall of Fame. 5 guys got into the Hall of Fame this year. Larry Allen. I'm not going to bring up the veteran nominees because none of us know who they are. We won't pretend like we know who they are. But the 5 modern-day candidates were Larry Allen for the Dallas Cowboys in the 90s and early 2000s. Warren Sapp for various teams over the years. Chris Carter.
Mainly the Bucks, though.
Mainly the Bucks.
Yeah, Bucks. Yeah.
Chris Carter, mainly for the Minnesota Vikings. Former Miami Dolphin, believe it or not. But Chris Carter, Minnesota Vikings. Jonathan Ogden, obviously, for the Baltimore Ravens. And Bill Parcells, well, we don't need to say anything there. Those were the 5 notable snubs that didn't make it this year. Chuck Haley, 5-time Super Bowl champion. I think the only 5-time Super Bowl champion for the Niners and the 49ers. I mean, the Niners and the Cowboys. He's been on the ballot for years and never gets in because of his off-the-field conduct. It's a shame, but hopefully that'll change. Andre Reed, probably the third best receiver. Yeah, Andre Reed, third best receiver in the 90s, probably behind Chris Carter and Jerry Rice. He's still not in. Michael Strahan, his first year on the ballot, he didn't get in. So Markeem, those who got in, any comments, and those who didn't get in, anything that upset you? Oh, by the way, Art Modell, and Willie Shields were the other 2 that didn't make it in. But anything that upset you, surprised you, speak.
I kind of feel like Art Modell should be in because historically, he's done a lot for the history of the NFL. So I think he kind of should be in. But what's the max number that can go in?
Five.
Okay, well then I can't get rid of any of those guys, man. I just can't. Like, Larry Allen was the best lineman of the 90s, period, in my opinion. Jonathan Ogden was seemed like he went to the Pro Bowl every year, pretty much. Jamal Lewis at 2,000 yards. No, Jamal Lewis. So,
okay, I get your point.
Warren Sapp to me is the most dominant interior lineman to ever play, in terms of defense. Y'all know how I feel about Chris Carter. I don't have to gush anymore. That dude was amazing. And Bill Parcells, top 10 coaches of all time. I'm fine with all of them.
Phil, any comments?
No, same here. I think I'm glad to see Warren Sapp in. I'm glad to see Bill Parcells in, and I'm definitely glad Chris Carter's in now, so he'll start crying. But he deserves it. He deserved it. I understand why. He did. He did have a reason to cry. I'm just. By the way,
let me just add. Do you guys know what school Warren Sapp went to?
Oh, shut up!
I know, kid.
Oh my gosh!
Won a national title. I know.
The University.
You people. I'm not a drinker, but you people that listen to this show, you might want to start a drinking game for any time he mentions the U.
I'm just saying.
Drink.
It's like I said on Twitter. What?
Hey, kid. We talking about you basketball this week?
Yeah. We're getting to that at the end. I kind of put all the college stuff in one little bubble towards the end. But okay. I just want to say very quickly that if any of you saw my argument on Twitter, my point is not that the University of Miami is still a dominant football franchise today. That is not true. We haven't won a title in 11 years. But, and this is completely and 100% undeniable, they have a presence in the NFL and in the Hall of Fame that is still to this day felt like no other university in the country. There was a streak of 149 weeks in a row that a touchdown was scored by a UM player. The second longest streak after 149 weeks is 13. 13. It's 13. So, I'm sorry.
That's crazy.
You could name me any team in the NFL, and I could probably name you a significant player from the University of Miami on that team. The dominance in the NFL is still felt today, and that is undeniable. I'm sorry. That is undeniable.
True.
All right.
Even though the SEC is kind of taking over that past few seasons.
Fair enough.
I think that changed.
But that's the SEC as a whole. That's not Alabama doesn't have the presence in the NFL that UM does.
That's true. That's
Right.
true.
All right. Now for the snubs for the Hall of Fame. I forgot. There's one more that I forgot to mention. Jerome Bettis. So Jerome Bettis, Chuck Haley, Art Modell, Willie Shields, Michael Strahan. Do you guys think they all 5 will eventually get in? Should get in? Markeem?
I think all of them should get in. I'm not sure about Modell, because as you know, as a story, as much as he's done for the NFL, a lot of people within the NFL don't like him, so he might not get in. But the rest of them, they'll all get in.
Phil?
Yeah, I think they will. I actually think I said this before the podcast. I think Strahan gets in next year, and I think Jerome would probably get in next year too. All depending on first ballots. I'm not sure who the first ballots would be next year, but
even with Jerome is the most overrated running back to ever play the game.
Why? Great offensive line. Great line. I mean,
Jerome Bettis the most over what?
He's a short yardage back. Always has.
Well, that's true. That is
but
true.
He's also the 3rd highest rusher in NFL history.
I know, and that's because he played forever. So.
I know. Just saying, dude.
Don't call him the bust for nothing.
Like, Smith played forever, and he's the all-time leading rusher. That's making the best.
Say it again.
I say he's Smith is the all-time leading rusher.
No, but I'm just saying he's third. He's third. That's part of his career, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, whatever. Overrated.
No. But it is true that there's a difference between gaining 2 yards on 1st and 10 and gaining 1 on 3rd and 1. That 3rd and 1 means a lot more. And Jerome Bettis on 3rd and 1 was unstoppable.
That's true.
Very true.
I mean, he had the body type of a fullback dressed as a running back.
But so was William the Refrigerator Perry. So.
Is he in the Hall of Fame? I don't even know.
I think so. I thought so. Maybe, I don't know.
He's in the WWE Hall.
Yeah, he's in WWE's Hall of Fame, so that's probably what I'm thinking.
All right. But you think he will get in?
Yeah.
All right. Next up, the free agency. The New York Giants went crazy this past weekend, cutting Michael Boley, Chris Canty, Ahmad Bradshaw.
Whoa! You got a lot of background.
I know it's gone. Michael Boley, Chris Canty, Ahmad Bradshaw, Osi Umenyiora. A lot of axes. The Giants are grinding, making free room for cap room. They had a lot of cap space to take over, and they want to sign Cruz and Nix, which is the right move. So, Phil, I'll start with you. What do you think of the Giants? Making all these roster changes.
I thought the Bradshaw one really kind of shocked me. OC I kind of saw coming for a while. Just with the emergence of Tuck and JPP, and I think I just kind of felt that was coming eventually, but. It was really kind of shocking for Bradshaw. I mean, you're riding everything on that rookie. Who had
David Wilson and the Brown.
Yeah, David Wilson, who's played well, but I mean, later in the season. But I mean, I still think you're jumping the gun a little bit. I think you should have kept Bradshaw. But other than that, I mean, they're making moves. That's what you need to do. I don't know if I'd necessarily agree. It's hard to say, but I don't know if I necessarily agree with the fact that you got to re-sign both Hicks and or not Hicks, Nix and
Cruz.
But I mean, I understand you got to do it. I mean, I guess, but part of me is just like that's a lot of money. I mean, if you have to end up spending a lot of money just for 2 receivers, you're asking. I mean, I don't know, but
I'm asking you a question though.
Go ahead.
Outside of those two receivers,
they don't have right.
What else do Eli have?
Right, and I just thought of a good point too. We signed 2 tight ends, so I kind of don't want to be contradictory. I guess it depends.
The Giants just re-signed Bear Pasco. Don't be so disrespectful.
Bear Pasco.
I am being about as respectful as I can. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what their contract. Let me say, let's see what their contract's going to be first, and we'll go from there. But
Markeem?
The Giants are getting ready for the next Super Bowl run. Yep. I'm cool with everything they're doing.
Same.
That's all right.
That was my first reaction. That so many teams think that this team took us to the Super Bowl, so we need to stick with this formula, and it will eventually pay off. And the Steelers did that, and now you have a bunch of old, injured guys on the defense, and now they're not even making the playoffs. I like this move by the Giants a lot. It's bold, it's ballsy, but it's what, gets you to another Super Bowl. They're freeing up cap room, they're getting more free agents. Props to them. I like the decision. I like the moves a lot.
Their concern is keeping their two talented young receivers.
Yep.
Can't fault them for that. I mean, yeah.
This isn't really a big deal. The Lions cut Titus Young, flat out cut him, removed his contract, terminated. I don't know if any of you guys even care about that. It's not.
Yeah, I know.
Rams picked him up.
Yeah. Rams picked him up on waiver.
And Rams also, was it the Rams? No, it's the Saints. The Saints might also sign Rob Ryan for defensive coordinator.
Huge. I said this on Twitter. Huge.
And they're getting rid of Jonathan Billman, it looks like.
Really? Oh, I didn't hear that. Wow. Still think it's huge. I still think Rob Ryan. I mean, it's underrated what he did for Dallas, and obviously Jerry Jones didn't appreciate it. But I think Rob Ryan could be a man. I don't want to jump out of the gun and say they automatically, which they're going to be in a mix with Sean Payton, but they got to be pretty good favorites going in now with Rob Ryan. We'll see. I don't want to jump the gun, but
we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I would agree. And this is just a rumor. Incarcerated Bob is reporting that Alex Smith is about to make a deal with the Kansas City Chiefs, and I like that. I don't know about
already.
You. They're talking.
Wow. Wonders for him. So, yeah.
Yeah, and with Alex Smith, he can throw it 25, 30 times a game and, work with it. Alex Smith doesn't turn the ball over very much. Not anymore.
Alex Smith is a free agent?
He's going to be. No, the Niners are going to deal him out, dude.
So you're saying they're going to trade him to the Chiefs?
No. They're going to
release him.
Yeah.
They're going to what? I missed that.
Release him.
Oh, okay. I didn't think that's what I was saying. I didn't think he was a free agent. So.
I saw a great article about this. Alex Smith, his contract deals with it's almost like a year-to-year basis. Like that's how his contract is structured, and there's something in his contract that in his contract, like I forget how it is. Like it's every year they renew the contract for a year. It's very weird. I'm not sure how it works. I don't want to fully explain it because I'll come off like an idiot. But basically, the Niners this past offseason didn't renew it like they did previously, which means that Alex Smith knew before the season started that Kaepernick was eventually going to take over. Which is kind of crazy to think about.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah. But, all right, let's move on to Vegas odds, because after the Super Bowl, something infuriated the living shit out of me. As soon as the Super Bowl was over, I think it's changed now. I think now it's tied.
It has.
Yeah.
It has changed, yeah.
But immediately after, this is the typical reaction. Immediately after the Super Bowl, immediately after the game had just ended, the Vegas odds came out for the 2013 through 2014 season for next year. The Vegas odds came out immediately after the Super Bowl, and lo and behold, the most likely team to go to the Super Bowl next year, the New England Patriots at 5-1 favorites. This is bullshit.
No, it's 7-1. It was 7-1.
7-1.
That's what I saw. But.
And then second place was the Niners. Third was the Texans. No, third was the
Broncos.
Then Texans. Then Ravens, I think. The Jets were like 40-1, and the Dolphins were 50-1. That's fucking insulting. Really? Omar Kelly made a great point. So there's a 3-1 chance that Rex Ryan gets fired next season, but there's a 40-1 chance compared to 50-1 to the Dolphins that the Jets make the Super Bowl.
If you're behind the Jets, that is insulting.
So the Patriots automatically have to start. We're ranked number 1 favorites to win the Super Bowl, and me and Markeem said bullshit, and Phil even said sigh, because Phil admitted this was wrong. Damn it.
Yeah, right. And I have I don't know if you want me to go first, but I do have some things I want to say about it.
Go for it.
Go ahead, Phil.
Okay. Okay. So here we go. All right. First of all, should they be number 1? By no means do I think they should be. I've said this already. I think the Niners are the number 1 favorites to me. But I kind of thought about this. I looked at it over in a little while, and I have something that I want to pitch to you guys. And I'm not saying this is not necessarily my thoughts. This is something to think about. we're talking about Vegas odds. We're talking about what people you're going to bet on these odds, right? And I know that it's they're saying that the odds on favorite, whoever has the most odds is the most likely to get to win the Super Bowl with these odds. I get that, but when you kind of took it from thinking on a Vegas standpoint, and thinking about, okay, if I'm going to bet, I know that's why I'm asking you guys, because I'm a Patriots fan and I know my bias is going to elevate to the top, but when I think about it, I'm like, okay, so when we're betting for these teams, we look at the teams that, let's just compare these teams. You have the Patriots who've been, I know, and I'll get to that about the Super Bowl, but what I'm saying is they've been to 7 championships since, well, not since, 4, they've been to 4 since 2005, their last Super Bowl win. They've been to 4 championships, the most out of any team. They've also, they changed a lot. They're not the same team. Me and Big Rat both agree on that. I don't think the formula that they run with now is going to win a Super Bowl. They have to change it up a lot, or they have to keep working on the defense, blah, blah, blah. That's not what we're talking about. But I think that when you look at the consistency with all these teams, okay, we'll look at the teams that have won a Super Bowl here recently. You have the Packers. That team's suffering big time on defense now. You have offensive line, huge offensive line issues, okay? So the Packers are out now. I know things can change around, but then you have the Saints. Saints, okay, they could probably be really. You don't really know. Of course, Rob Ryan could change that, but they've got it done once. Same thing with the Packers. Steelers, who can really put any faith in that team? The Colts are not the same team. I'm not saying that Andrew Luck can't take a team like eventually to the Super Bowl, but I'm saying right now it's a totally different team than when Peyton had it. So that Super Bowl is out of the question now too. So then, if I'm not, make sure I'm not leaving out any other AFC. But anyways, so we have the NFC side. We have the Giants who, do they decide to play or not? We don't know before a season. Really, we don't know what to do. So the other NFC, we already said the Packers. I was trying to think if there was another one. That's pretty much the main team. If I forgot somebody, let me know. And then you have the Niners, who have lost in the NFC Championship game, now lost in the Super Bowl. It kind of makes a trend you would think that they would win now, but sometimes teams just can never win it. But my point is, what I'm getting at with all that jibber jabber is, you have the Patriots who have been to 4 championship games, 2 Super Bowls. If they haven't won, I get that. Stick with me. But you have Belichick and Brady. It's been consistent. Welker's been on the team for a while. Gronk. They're getting pieces that have been there for a little while, longer than a lot of the Super Bowl or teams that have won a Super Bowl in the last 10 years. Is what I'm getting at. So we're talking about not the favorite. Like obviously, I don't say the Patriots are the favorites, but when you're talking about if you had all your chips, you had your life savings. Are you going with, and I hate to say it like this because it's going to sound like I'm saying that all you need to win a Super Bowl is Belichick and Brady. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, if you have your chips, if you have your life savings, are you going to put it on a whim? Not a whim, not saying that these teams are a whim, but are you going to take a chance with the Broncos? Still, there's lots of questions there with the Broncos. That's another team I forgot, but they haven't won a Super Bowl, so I didn't mention them. But they're new. Do you put your chips in that hat? And I get the Patriots have won a Super Bowl, but let me get to this before I finish. Do you put all your life savings onto the Saints, hoping Sean Payton's first year back? Do you put all that same life savings on the Packers with that offensive line and that defense? Do you put that same on the Steelers, which you don't know what's going to happen, or the Giants that are a big question mark, or the Niners who have lost the NFC Championship game, lost the Super Bowl? Do you put that on? I'm not talking about who's the clear favorites that you would pick to win. You're talking about who you're going to bet on. And this is just, like I said, it's just something I thought about. And maybe I may be totally off base. I don't know. But to me, and like I said, it might be the bias. You guys can let me know. But I think that when it comes down to it, if you're going to bet on something, why would you not bet on one of the greatest coaches of all time and one of the best quarterbacks of all time? I know you need more than that. Don't jump on me about that. I know that. But my mind just says if you're going to bet on anything, that just seems like the best bet. Because if you get it wrong, just think of it this way. If you get that bet wrong, what are you going to – you're not – how bad would you feel? But if you put you're going to put your betting on Peyton Manning or Peyton Manning and the Broncos or the Packers, they have a lot more question marks there. And I know the Patriots, they have a lot to get done to get to the Super Bowl. Not a lot, but they're going to be – my point is the Patriots are contenders, been consistent contenders for a long time. Whether they've won in a long time, no. But who has been that consistent for that long There isn't anybody else. So if you're going to bet on a team, why wouldn't it be the Patriots? And that's just something I wanted to throw out there.
You want to go, kid?
Yeah. It's the on First Take today, Skip Bayless asked Stephen A. Smith, why do you
Good point, though, Phil. Let me point it out. Good point.
No, I thought it was a very good presentation. I was very impressed. But Skip Bayless asked Stephen A. Smith,
Professor Campbell. Yeah.
Why do you think Aaron Rodgers deserves more money than Tom Brady? And Stephen A. Smith you could tell that he had just gotten tired of the argument and just said, because Tom Brady hasn't won a Super Bowl in 9 fucking years.
He's fucking.
It's national television. You can say fucking. It's okay. That's how it works. I get that gambler's mentality. It's just the simple fact that it's another fucking year where they're ranked 1 overall. Automatically. Like, this furthers my point. It's the time that it took. It was instantly, automatically, as soon as the Super Bowl ends, who's going to win next year's Super Bowl? The Patriots. That's the problem.
Well, right, but they have to make a decision. I mean, they're going to make a decision regardless. They are.
Look.
They're not going to think about it, is my point.
Hold on. Phil, think about it this way. Without thinking about it, wouldn't you take the team that has everything coming back, the exact same team that just played for a title?
Well, right, but I know. Like I said, I'm just presenting the point. I'm just saying, that I think, Vegas odds don't mean anything. They never have meant anything. And
I'm
to me,
just saying, it's the stigma. This is the problem with the stigma of the Patriots.
Hold on. Sometimes they are really close.
All right, but and what I'm saying, and I get that. Like I said, I don't think the Patriots should be the odds-on favorite. I see probably if you're asking me on top of the head, second or third maybe is what I would put them. Maybe fourth. No,
just admit this. There is a stigma that they're chosen every year automatically. They're chosen.
See, I don't know. I mean, there's obviously after this year, there probably is that stigma. But
do you see it now, Phil? Like, isn't it?
I do see it. But see, last year I think it was credited. I think last year I'm okay with it.
Where
so there's certain years I'm okay with
the defense was terrible, where they were arguably the third best team in the entire AFC.
Yes, and they lost Super Bowl in 1 minute. That's my point.
No.
Like I can see. I could see it last year. This year, I get it. Yes, it does not. Totally doesn't make sense.
Look. The point is, we just want you to see it. One of my best friends, who's a big Patriots fan, I told him after the game was over, I was like, "Do you see it now?" And he messaged me. He messaged me via Facebook, and he's like, "Yeah, you were right. I was wrong. I'm sorry." Like, this is the proof. This is what I've been saying for fucking years that no one's been listening to me on, and now people can see it. That it doesn't matter where the Patriots place. It doesn't. They could have lost in the divisional round to the Texans. They still would have been the first. I promise you.
I don't know about I don't think.
When they lost to the Jets, they were the first. They were the most likely team to make the playoffs.
Oh yeah. That's true.
Well, I mean, there's nothing to deny that they're clearly always put to the top. I don't know why. I don't get it either. But to the same thing, I do still point at the fact that it's the consistency factor, and I think that's what Vegas is sticking with. Granted, it hasn't worked, so you think it's gonna. You should put your odds on someone else, but I just still think eventually, to me, and I know Big Rat says they're never gonna win no Super Bowl, but to me, eventually they're gonna win one. With Brady and with Brady and Belichick.
Not like this.
I honestly.
That defense is improving, so we'll see.
Listen, I honestly think this will be the ultimate knock on Brady's legacy. I honestly think Belichick wins another Super Bowl, Brady does not. I really believe that.
That would be some shit right there.
Brady's accuracy this year was the worst it's been like in a long, long, long time.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, well,
I'm saying Peyton Manning's accuracy this year was the second best ever. Brady's trending downward.
I wouldn't say that.
No. Listen. I'm not saying he's not going to still be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I'm saying his accuracy year by year is trending downward, and that's just a fact. Peyton Manning's is trending either flatline or slightly up.
It went up. Brady's went up 1 year. From 09-010, it went up.
Yes. I'm just saying.
Barely. And it barely went down the next year. So it's a significant, I will admit, it was a significant amount down this year. So I can't deny that. But Let's not make this about it.
Remember, Brady.
That dude needs help.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I think Markeem, you said it the best way. I couldn't believe you. Well, I couldn't believe it, but I'm saying like you said it the best way. I think whatever podcast it was when we were talking about this, Brady's just going through exactly what Manning had to go through. It's just that simple. I mean, they're basically the Colts basically said, hey, Peyton, and hopefully Belichick will realize, hey, it's clearly not working, to just give it to Brady. So, but I think he's going through exactly what the Colts did. It's just opposite. Brady had his Super Bowls already. And Peyton was chasing one. That's just the difference.
All I want is for more people to acknowledge that.
Right.
That's all.
Right. And I can acknowledge that as a fan. I mean, but my thing is it gets a little too ridiculous when you're saying they haven't won a Super Bowl in 10 years when so many other teams haven't either. So it's like I get it for the favorite. No, listen. I get it for the favorite argument. I get it for that. But there's people that just say it just to say it, and that you can't just say it just because. I mean, that's just like to say like that's like the worst thing you can say about the Patriots. I'm cool with that. We haven't won it 10 years. Well, guess what? There's teams that haven't done it.
Right, because let me tell you, when they had that argument about Rodgers, Breeze, Manning, and Brady, Brady's the one that hasn't won in the longest time, and this is the thing. And Stephen A. Smith said this so perfectly today.
But Rodgers has just started.
But Stephen A. Smith said this so perfectly today when Skip was like, if it wasn't for, Brady could have won 5 Super Bowls, but the team held him back. And he's like, oh, really, Skip? Because in 2007, how many points did he score against the Giants? And Skip was like 14. And Stephen A. Smith was like, and so the best offense in NFL history that was averaging 30 points a game puts up 14 against the Giants that were not like the best defense ever.
They played awesome that game, though. Don't underrate them.
Okay, Phil, 14 points barely wins you a regular season game.
No, I get no, they have to put up more points. I'm not going on that route.
The point is Brady didn't play at the level they needed him to. The knock is that Brady, when it counted recently, had the best team in NFL history. And when it mattered, he didn't play at the level that was necessary to win them a Super Bowl.
I don't think it mattered in that game, to be honest. It wouldn't have mattered.
All right.
They weren't going to win.
Really, Phil?
They weren't going to win that game. It was clear the Giants were the better team that night.
Phil, come on, really?
Yeah, I do think that.
I'm not going to let you off that easy, sir. Really? You saw them all year.
I did. And they should have won. They should have creamed the Giants. But once that game was over and said and done, I look at that game. No, I mean Brady's not going to be able to do that because the way that the Giants were playing that game, you're taking away from the Giants. If you're saying that.
Actually, I'm not. Actually, I'm not at all. Like, they were out of the defensive line was good, but they were out of this world. Eli Manning wasn't scoring.
I'm saying, but we talked this to death for something.
Yes, let's hopefully put the Brady talk, the Patriots talk down for a while. All right. Let's all agree. And Phil, if this had been before the regular season and the Patriots had signed Ed Reed, I can understand. But the fact that it was immediately after the Super Bowl, that's the issue. That's our issue. No.
Right, and after this year, I totally see it now. I do. I'll admit that. Right. I like I said, last year I thought it was credible. This year, not. If they do it, if something happens, the same scenario. Again, next year I'll say the same thing. I don't think they shouldn't be favorites. Right. But like I said, I just wanted to present that odds factor in there and why.
No, that is a good point. I get that, Phil.
So, I just wanted to make sure that wasn't just me.
No. It was very, very good point. I must admit. But let me say that next year, when the Dolphins win the division and the Patriots are still the favorite to win the Super Bowl the next year. All right. Alex Collins. Hey, Cassie. Not that cold.
You're Skyping outside.
Say it again. Yeah. So, Alex Collins, in today's day and age, a 5-star recruit running back for the University of Miami, was recruited to the University of Miami, and then he, at the very last minute, changed his mind to Arkansas. And his mother, who lives in South Florida, his mother, really badly wanted him to stay at home. So when he went to sign his letter of intent to go to the University of Arkansas, his mother went to his high school and stole his recruitment papers and left with them. And now she's getting a lawyer, Johnny Cochran's lawyer, so she can legally prevent him from attending the University of Arkansas. Is this right, Phil?
to me, I mean, the kid's 18, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask that first. Okay.
Yeah.
She has no legal right. No legal right. He's 18. Now she can say you're not getting my money, but I'm guessing he got a scholarship. She can say I'm not getting you're not getting my money, you're not staying here, blah blah blah. She can do that. She has that legal right, but she can't tell him where to go. And I get it. It's the mom. This we've heard this stuff like this before. Actually, another case with a Collins. It was Landon Collins. His mom wanted him to go to LSU, and she made a kind of a big deal about it. But eventually, she just kind of got over it. You got to let. You said this before the podcast, and I'm sure you'll kind of go elaborate on it as well. But you just got to let the guy do. Let the kid. You got to let him do what he wants to do. You don't want to be the parent that says, you can't go to the University of Miami, or you can't go to the University of Arkansas. You got to go to Miami. And then the kid grows up and was like, wow, so I got to go to Miami. And the whole time he's not wanting to be there. And it's like, no, let him do what he wants to do. If it ends up being wrong, or if it ends up not being the right choice, he has to live with that. You don't want to be the one that made the wrong decision for him. So I don't know the kid, but that's how I feel about it.
Markeem.
I'm gonna keep it short. All she has to do is read what you just read out loud to herself, and she'll see how ridiculous she's being. Go ahead, kid.
No. This will be very quick myself because I'm tired of talking about it. But
Oh, sorry. Is it cool?
But yeah. Basically, here's my issue with the whole thing. I'm not a parent. I'm not claiming to be a parent. But in my opinion, as a parent, you gotta let a kid make his own decisions. Hugh Douglas said it best today on Numbers Never Lie. His daughter wanted to go to Alabama State for college, and he didn't want her to go there. But they argued, and then she said, Dad, you have to let me learn how to make my own decisions. And Hugh Douglas was like, you're right, and I'm wrong. And as a parent, I know you want your children at home. My parents wanted me to stay home for college, like a lot of parents do. But, I got into a really good school, and they realized that it was better for me to come here. I get that most parents...
Hey, kid, what school do you go to? I think I've asked.
Brown, dude.
Brown.
Oh, okay.
So, my family legit realized what was better for me, and they let me come here. So I'm saying that I understand why she's thinking that, and I don't want to make any assumptions about his family. I'm just making assumptions based on what I know about South Florida the local high school, the high school football Florida scene. Booker T. Washington, Miramar, Central, Miami Northwestern. These are schools that produce some of the best talents in the country. I want to say Miramar. I'm not sure. But Phil, Geno Smith, for example, Geno Smith is from Miramar High School, Florida, which is a Miami-based high school. I think it's Miramar. It's a Miami school. I don't remember which one. But anyways, Teddy Bridgewater is also from Miami. What a coincidence. Arguably the first quarterback taken in the draft last year and the first quarterback taken in the draft this year.
Can we go?
All right. And yes, it was Miramar for Geno Smith. But basically, based on how a lot of these kids live, they don't live in the best of environments. Their families don't have the best of income. I'm just going by what I know. So maybe in that situation, if this kid, Alex Collins, is in a similar economic situation, I can understand his mother being a little more... they don't live in the best of neighborhoods. I can understand his mother being a little more scared to see her son go away. But honestly, I think it's wrong. And I think that, in my opinion at least, the kids got to make their own decisions. Personally.
And me and Phil were talking. I was saying that that's Duke Johnson's team in Miami. He'd probably fight for a starting job. So...
Yeah, no, that's true. And you think he'd start in Arizona over, what's that dude's name? The dude that's coming back?
Yeah, Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas.
Yeah, he could.
He's a 5-star recruit. Have you seen his film in high school? Looks really impressive.
Look, I was looking him up as you were talking about. See his stats and stuff. Yeah.
He's very, 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 very talented back. But we'll see. In other Miami recruiting notes, I just want to touch on this very quickly. You guys obviously don't have to comment about this. Stacey Coley and Jermaine Grace, defensive tackle. Stacey Coley, wide receiver. Kevin Olson, quarterback. and a few other guys here and there. But those are the main three of the recruiting class. All 4-star recruits. I was very happy with the recruiting class. Obviously, there's big disappointment that we didn't get Matthew Thomas. Markeem, you've heard of Matthew Thomas, I presume, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Matthew Thomas, five-star recruit, number 1 linebacker in the country. It was down for him between Miami and FSU, and he chose FSU. Miami, for those who do not know, we were projected to get him and Denver Kirkland, his teammate, who's an offensive lineman at Booker T. Washington High School. And Miami last week, for whatever reason, pulled Denver Kirkland's scholarship, saying that because we had limited scholarships, he had to decide now if he wanted to commit to the University of Miami or not, because they had other commits that they needed to make room for. And Kirkland said, well, you guys are in my top 3. I don't know yet, but I'm leaning towards you guys, but I don't know yet. I can't guarantee you. So UM pulled his scholarship like fucking morons, and then they offered it back. So he got really mad, Denver Kirkland, and he said, fuck these fools. They pulled my scholarship, and he went to the University of Arkansas. And the reports are that Matthew Thomas would have been a Hurricane had we not done that to his teammate, because he said that he could not trust us. He said after they did that to Denver Kirkland, I could not trust the Hurricanes, which I understand. I'm blaming Al Golden and his coaching staff for this. That was a fuck up by them. But I'm happy with the recruiting class. A lot of people aren't. A lot of people are upset.
One thing I want to talk about. This may be the downfall of Bob Stoops in Oklahoma. He did horrible.
Really?
He did just absolutely terrible, man. I don't think anyone wants to go there anymore. He did really bad. I think he's like 16th, 17th in the nation right now by recruiting. That's terrible. For Oklahoma, that's awful.
I think is what? I think we're 20. I'm not sure.
Which is down for UM, but still, y'all were ranked. This is Oklahoma right now.
Yeah, no, that's a top 10. That's a top 10 program. I understand. I know UM's place, but in my opinion, UM's biggest season the next 4 years is this season. I think this season, if we don't go at least 9-3, I'll be really disappointed. So I'm not too concerned about the future. I'm concerned about Golden's future as a coach, because maybe we can win a title this year. I doubt it, but I honestly think this is our best chance to do so. And if we pull another 7-5 year this year with this talent, I think Golden has to go. Honestly.
Y'all should compete for a ACC title.
Yes,
should
definitely. At least at bare minimum that. So I have a lot of expectations of Al Golden, and I hope he meets them this year. But I just want to very quickly say I like the recruiting class. I know a lot of people didn't, but I didn't mind it. I was a fan.
We did for them.
Virginia
I don't even know where we're ranked. Yeah, I was looking at the crawl at the bottom of the screen, watching ESPNU a lot yesterday, and I didn't see much of anything. So.
I got you. So that's that. We'll move to Heisman odds now. The Heisman odds came out of who were the most likely candidates to win the Heisman odds to win the Heisman next year. They had a list of athletes, obviously, and this shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone. Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football, was the favorite at 4-1. I have the list right here. It's Johnny Football, then Braxton Miller, then Marquise Lee, then Aaron Murray, then DeAnthony Thomas, then in a tie, Jadeveon Clowney, Duke Johnson, Taylor Martinez, A.J. McCarron, and then right under him is Taj Boyd. Yeldon is a little lower if you're curious. Yeldon is like 18-1. And under Yeldon, it's Everett Golson, which I think is really surprising, and Marcus Mariota, Kadeem Carey. But yeah, Johnny Manziel, Braxton Miller, Marquise Lee, Aaron Murray, DeAnthony Thomas, Jadeveon Clowney, Duke Johnson, Taylor Martinez, A.J. McCarron are the top 10, I think. So, Markeem, what do you think of this list? Do you think it's accurate in that order? What do you think?
I think realistically, Johnny Manziel and A.J. McCarron are the top choices. Because now A.J. McCarron with a lot of hype coming into this year. He could do something that I don't think any quarterback has ever done. That's win 3 national championships. And now, if he's productive, he'll be a Heisman finalist. But he ain't got to be that great. He just be productive. Obviously, Manziel, he's still Johnny Football. I expect him to do all the incredible things that he did the last few weeks of last year. he's my favorite, obviously. But I think realistically, McCarron second, and then Braxton Miller third. And I think Taj Boyd should get a little bit more love because they're going to be very dependent on him this year. And I expect him to throw up a lot. And he's a very talented dude. So expect an absolute monster year from him this year. I don't get why Aaron Murray's up there. Whatever. Thomas, I hear the same song and dance every year about him. Whatever. Like last year, he was supposed to be the runaway favorite. So what happened? What's his name? Kenyon Barner was better than him anyway.
Jadeveon Clowney?
He's a defensive lineman. Unless he has like the season Terrell Suggs had at Arizona State, and South Carolina wins the SEC, I don't see it happening. Just don't.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard for a defensive player to win.
Hey, he's gonna have to have a season like Terrell Suggs had, and then they're gonna win the conference. So it's not gonna happen.
And what are your comments on Duke?
Oh, I'm fine with that because he's gonna get a lot of the carries. T.J. Yeldon at Alabama, I still believe is better, but I think it would be like a situation with him and Lacey last year where he'll 100% split the carries. So,
Teddy Bridgewater is not on this list, surprisingly. Is that a crime?
Not really, because he plays for Louisville. I expected that.
But do you think he'll put himself in the running eventually?
No, he'll have nothing. Don't care.
But how about this? Do you think who do you think has a better chance of being drafted first overall next year? Jadeveon Clowney or Teddy Bridge?
Jadeveon Clowney. It depends on who's bad. He's a quarterback. But I think they're the top two choices next year.
Okay. All right, Phil. Any comments on this Heisman list?
I don't know. I really don't know who I could say would. I don't think I have any problem with anybody that's on there, but it's gonna be hard. Like I agree with Markeem. It's gonna be hard for a guy to win. On defense. But other than that,
one more thing. Didn't you say Kadeem carry?
Yeah.
If he carries the ball as much as he should, he will run away with the rushing title this year. Like he will lead the nation by bunch this year.
All right. Good to know. Next up, we get to our final topic of the day. Miami Hurricanes basketball chimes in as the number 8th ranked team in the country after pulling off an amazing defeat of NC State. Even you got to admit, that was fucking nuts. That was crazy. An incredible...
Yeah, one of the best games of the year. Yeah.
That was a ranked team, the hardest team on our schedule, probably until the Duke game at Duke, March 2nd. Amazing. We're ranked number 8. Markeem, how far do you think UM's going in the tourney now that they're ranked number 8?
Sweet 16 probably every day. Like, they still got problems. They beat props for beating NC State, but how much of an accomplishment is that?
At NC State. At NC State.
I know that, but we still don't know what team we get from week to week with them. There have been did you watch the game, kid?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Well, your boy, even your buddy can attest to this. Your boy that follows me on Twitter. They gave away that game. I know y'all would gladly take it, but they gave away that game, and there was a ton of times where they could have put them away, especially the last minute. But could have just on the ball and make it a few more free throws, and it would have been over. All of a sudden, they just randomly missed free throws. It was an odd game. Probably for getting it done, because it's hard to win on the road in ACC, especially one of the toughest crowds in the nation. But I don't think they play consistent enough defense come tourney time. And I think 3-point. I think some of those mid-major teams that barely get in, some of those teams like Bucknell that usually get in, and not forget some of those Missouri Valley teams, some of those teams that can really fill it up. I think that will be the downfall. that they have no business losing to.
So you're saying because of, the great hesitation on part of players, especially for Larkin and Durant Scott, to go for the immediate steal, and up to now it has worked perfectly. But when it doesn't work, like it won't with the elite guards, this is what Chase was saying, when it doesn't work with the elite guards, you think they'll take advantage of us and, decisively win.
Like, you don't want to see Ben McLemore or Trey Burke, Tim Hardaway Jr., or, who's some of the other ones. I bought up a few other ones, but I don't want to see them come turn time, man. And, Victor Oladipo, he was a forward guard, too. Aaron Craft, who can't score, but he's an amazing passer. What y'all going to do with the shot time? He's like me, Kevin Durant. What y'all going to do against him? Yeah?
All right. Well, so basically you're saying that, and I've kind of been feeling this too. It wouldn't surprise you if UM goes to the Elite Eight, and it wouldn't surprise you if they get bounced in the second round.
Yeah. Either one. But Final Four team, y'all still that dream.
We'll see about that. Right now, we're probably getting a 2 seed.
Well, you could argue. It's just an argument, but you could. They're possibly a 1 if they win the conference and the conference tourney. Possibly. You could argue.
So, and you still don't think we're a Final Four team?
No.
Okay, well, when we beat you guys in Cameron Indoor, then we'll come talking, okay?
Okay.
You realize when the team is healthy, when everyone on the team is healthy, we're undefeated?
Okay. Y'all ain't been to Cameron Indoor Stadium, though.
All right. We'll see about that. They said we couldn't win at UNC or at NC State.
Who said that I could win at UNC or see, we'll get to my people don't watch college basketball regular season rant. I got a bonus. Like, it's not like college football where people comment. This is quick though. People comment and go all in during March Madness. I get that, but the regular season of college basketball is very telling. It's not as simple when March Madness comes around. It's not as simple as just choosing teams. Like, if you've never seen these teams, like, that's some motherfuckers be like, my bracket is just totally shot to hell. Like, even though some of my other matchups are usually shot to hell, I'm a big college basketball fan, and my Final Four is usually 3 out of 14, mostly 4 out of 4. So, Sam.
Who's your Final Four right now?
Right now, it's no bracket, so it depends on the matchups. So, are you asking me, like, who's the 4 best teams?
Yes,
right
say
now?
that.
Okay.
4 best teams.
Okay, Indiana.
Okay.
Indiana, Michigan, Florida, and yep, so I still think Florida is better than Miami. They had a terrible performance here. They're still better. Sorry.
I didn't say they weren't. Don't get so defensive, you idiot.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm seeing that. Like, Miami is the best team in Florida. Come on now.
All right, so Florida, Indiana, Michigan. Who's the 4th?
And Kansas. Even though they also had a bad but, Ben McLemore is a pro. I mean, Jeff Whitney is the best defensive big man in college basketball, hands down. It's not close. Yes, I know Nerlens Noel is amazing, and he's tall, and he's athletic and all that stuff, but Jeff Whitney does more than just block shots. He steals the ball. He even plays on the perimeter at times. That dude can ball. Period. And Kentucky is a team that I can see, if they all decide we want to play together, they can win it all because they have the most talent of anybody in this nation.
All right. I got you. Well, that's all we have to say today, everybody. I am your illustrious, humble host, Big Rat 310. I want to thank you all for joining us. My illustrious guests here were...
Nytemare10.
And Nightmare88.
I do want to say that we might be moving more towards basketball, and Nightmare88 may be on here from time to time, but he might not be on here on a week-to-week basis as he once was. So this may be the last time that you see all three of us.
Are you crying?
Honestly, it's been so
Wow,
much fun.
Not forever. Before, wow, not forever though.
Not forever,
Yeah.
yeah, not forever.
Not forever.
I'll be back.
But
son.
it's been a lot of fun to do the entire football season with you guys. We're not going to be done talking about football because obviously when free agency and the draft comes, that'll be important. But we want to thank you all for listening to all our football-related topics. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
And with that, myself, Jay Crawford, Stephen A. Smith, and Philip Bayless.
Woo!
My bad, I'll call myself Big Rat Carry Champion because I am, the
No,
best.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
That lady's beautiful.
Listen,
Don't do that.
I'm the most cosmetically pleasing of the three of us. Ooh.
I get the lady, son. I get Mickey James.
Oh. All right. We're out. Thank you all. Bye.